Why, hello there. We begin this week's episode with a wee gift from Julian. This, ladies and gentlemen, is so cool. Taking the Astro logo and running it through some Blender magic, we get this absolutely stunning animation. Merci, Julian. Honestly, the boy is a real artist. And so we begin our episode of This Week in Astro off the back of another fun and exciting week for us astronauts. And it is the week ending the 2nd of October. Just as autumn arrives, we say goodbye to a very hot summer. And so we start our weekly episodes just by taking a quick look over Astro. I always say that you have to check out the Astro Showcase, where there's 50 odd examples of great sites built and powered by Astro. It's a great place for you to get inspired for your next Astro project. Do check out the showcase, guys. Astro Userland integrations along with our own can be found here on the actual integrations page. We have hundreds of amazing integrations with Astro, and if you're ever short or stuck, there's probably an integration already there for you. Now, if you want to add your own theme, add to the Astro themes page, or if you have your own integrations added, or you want to get them added, even add to the showcase, your own website, you could put all of this on the astro.build website just by going to the repo and submitting an issue, and we will get that up there for you. So it's a very simple process, guys. And while you're there, do take a look over the Astro repo. It is a great way for you to keep up to date with all the important work that is going on in and around the project and its many repositories. And talk about the Astro project, if you want to get in touch with the amazing community of astronauts that we have congregated around the Astro project, by all means jump on board to the astro.build/chat as your invite to take you to the actual Discord channel. And we get into the meat of things now by taking a recap of the news and events that has happened within the community over the past week. And we always start these calls by doing a recap over the actual community call itself. Nate leads these community calls himself, and he's does an excellent job. This week we had an update on the Q4 roadmap for this particular quarter. We've had announcements about the new events forum that'll be starting for this coming week, and the new community calls that he's looking to do with him. We've confirmed that the Illuminati does exist. There were many announcements. The most notable ones were we finally got TSX source maps in Astro now. Woohoo! We've also got the actual Hacktoberfest, the announcement of the Astro Hacktoberfest. That was announced on Tuesday there, and more information on that in a wee bit. But there was great discussions in and around the RFCs, and by all means, guys, if you want to keep up to date with the conversation that had happened, you could always go back to the Astro YouTube channel and find the community calls there. These are posted shortly after the calls themselves. Now, if you can make it, the calls do take place on Tuesday at 7 PM GMT time, and this way you can come in and participate within the calls themselves. With V1 out of the way, we're now turning our focus on what really comes after, and we've got this amazing discussions page on the RFC channel where you can come in and feel free to help contribute and design to the things that are coming up, right? Things that you'd like to see that us work on next, features that you'd like to see improved, missing features that you'd like to see brought into Astro, things that you've seen elsewhere that you'd like to see in Astro, etc. Guys, get involved in the discussions. It is a great place to go. We've also got a link to the Q4 roadmap within the discussions page as well. And here you can keep up to date with the actual progress of Astro during this next quarter. It is really cool, guys. There's a couple of things on the docket that when they do come, they will be really amazing, will be really strong for us. So I do look forward to some of that stuff. It is the pulse check time, and what we normally do is take a quick put our hand to the veins of the Astro repo each week. Strong performance, a really strong week from the community and the core team as well. A great mixture of collaboration there. We've had 43 out of 53 PR requests. That's about 80% of the PRs being merged this week. We've also had 41 out of 65 issues that were merged, that were closed as well this week, which was fantastic. So many amazing community contributions this week that we will get to in a wee second. But before we do that, just a wee look over the past month, right? The past month in itself has been really interesting because it is the month after V1, and what we really seen here was a phenomenal amount of PRs being closed. Almost 95% of the PRs that were actually raised this month, in the past month, being merged. Likewise, with the number of issues, we were looking at about 75% of the total issues being closed as well. All in all, this is really healthy, really encouraging, and really amazing to see. Astro's getting stronger and stronger, guys. It really has been. Now, given all of that, there is a couple of releases that came out. I mean, it's been a very interesting week for releases. We started the week on version 1.3, and a lot can happen in Astro in 7 days. Now, we take some time to reflect deeply on the past month, and the release coincides with 1.4.2. In fact, there was two releases that went out in the same day. 4.1 had a patch fix from Erica where the markdown definitions weren't being shared or made available outside Astro files. And this release in particular, 4.2, contained a very important memory fix, which was reported immediately acted upon by Nate. This particular leak that was reported was due to MDX errors not being handled properly, and this was causing the said memory leak to come and causing really slow reload times, and development experience was a bit nippy the other day, right? But nonetheless, let's see what's made its way out to us. We have an update regarding our much loved Astro image integration. Now, the Astro image has come along leaps and bounds, and there's been some massive improvements that's been added of late. Just to make you aware of, we've added a new image service that is based on Scoosh, and similar to the next image transformation tool, we've now incorporated WASM, so this allows us to have the image tool be utilized in pretty much all the environments possible, from Stack Blitz to your local environment editor. The image tool is now more powerful than ever. Not only that, it also allows us to have Deno support as well, whereas previous versions of the image integration tool utilize Sharp. Now, Sharp is a very node happy tool. It's not really, it doesn't really, gel well elsewhere, and hence the migration to WASM. And talking about migrations, if you're happy with the previous image service that was based on Sharp, that's not a problem at all, guys. You could just install Sharp into your project and update the Astro config to match. It is really that simple. That's not all, promise you. There's something else that's came along with this, right? We've got full caching support now for the actual image integration. And this is amazing, for this caches all transformed images now. And what you're seeing here is a snapshot of the build times where there was, no images cached, right? And what you're roughly seeing is the image tool taking about 88 seconds in total. The complete build taking 112 seconds. What you're seeing here is the first run with no images being cached, with the complete run happening within about 88 seconds. And this was done on an LFI, the second run had one image file updated, the rest were cached. This resulted in an 80% improvement on the build times, where the image processing happened in a fraction of the build time it used to take. Like you can see there, guys, from 88 seconds to less than a second itself. Now, these times are on SSG builds that ran on Netlify, which was a copy of the Astro build site, and this is what we've seen off the back of it, which is amazing. And there is a way for you to manually configure the cache. All the local images will be cached for a year, and then they're automatically invalidated when the original image file is changed. Remote images will be cached based on the fetch response headers, similar to how a CDN would handle or manage the cache. The cache directory option that you're seeing on the screen here within the integration itself, right, now provides a way for you to override the default directory. Typically, transformed images will be cached within the node modules folder, but this can be configured within the integration's configurations options to be something of your own choosing. Caching can also be disabled as well just by setting it to false, right? Which I think is fantastic. So the sheer effort and the hard work that has went into this integration from Tony and I said the other astronauts has really made the integration one of them, in my opinion. The sheer effort and hard work that has went into this integration from Tony and the other amazing astronauts has really made this integration so cutting edge. It's insane, right? I'm so impressed with how this has turned out. I am actually speechless with it. It's amazing. WASM support, Deno support, is like caching, the build times, the transformation that it does, the support and developer experience that it gives you. All of this and more, you can find out all the information to this amazing integration, right, by checking out the guide that's on the docs page, where you can find out in more depth how to go about using this integration and also utilizing images within your Astro project, right? To add the image integration to your project, just simply hit Astro add image in the CLI tool and it'll get seamlessly added in. Now, here is an issue that has kept appearing in a number of different ways in the past. CSS specificity, or in a nutshell, the way that CSS is ordered, has had a weird edge case where the order for the imported CSS would always lose to Astro styles. Now this meant that if you had an imported style, this would always be placed after the Astro styles, causing the styles themselves not to be applied, losing to the specificity battle here, right? Now Matt put a fix together, right, where those styles that are defined within the actual Astro component will be placed below the imported styles. So when you compiled for production, the result on the right is what you would see. Given Astro 0 specificity rule, this change effectively makes it so that Astro styles win when they have the same specificity as global styles, whereas global styles will win generally speaking when it comes to Astro styles. Now, off the back of a successful RFC, where Matt had proposed a better API to handle the cookies within the Astro components and API routes, I'm proud and happy to say that we've finally got really good cookie support. This is my fault, guys. Let's see if we could get through this next bit without losing too many cookies to this guy, right? Now, what is a cookie? Cookies are a useful part of web development. They allow you to store state about your users that will be retained for a period of time. However, cookies are just a special type of header, a HTTP header that browsers recognize. A single header that contains values for multiple cookies. To get a cookie, you must get the header, then parse its value and extract the cookie that you're interested in. This makes working with cookies using the standard request response objects very cumbersome. So what Matt proposed was an API that would make life easy for us astronauts. And so we've been given this higher level API called Astro.Cookies. Here inside an Astro component, the new Astro.Cookies object, which is a map-like object, allows you to get, set, delete, and even check for cookies' existence using the has method, right? Which is fantastic. Once you set a cookie using the Astro.Cookies, it would automatically be included. Once you've set a cookie with the Astro.Cookies, it would automatically be included in the outgoing response. This API is also available with the same functionality in API routes themselves, like you can see here. And just to put it together for you as a wee summary on how to utilize the API in both an Astro file and an endpoint, I must say this is really cool. and really handy as well, especially when it comes to dealing with cookies. It has always been a pain point, but this looks like a really good API for developers to get the handle on the cookie jar. Now, I highly recommend for you all to check out this particular RFC if you wish to find out more information about the proposal, the methods, and the return bodies, and also more details on the actual implementation as well, right? It is fantastic, and I'm glad to see Astro.Cookies here. Damn it, you got through the lot of them. Well, the premise with Astro.Cookies is life is too short not to eat all the cookies. Thank you very much, Matt, for putting that together for us. Really, I'm looking forward to actually playing with that myself. Now, next up, we've got the core contributions. This is a part of the call where I go into some detail, right, to explain the contributions. I mean, the amazing effort from the community. There's so many helpful contributions that gets put in, week out to help further the cause. It is really endearing to see, and this is why I'll do this bit. And there are so many astronauts to get through. First off, we say hello and thank you to Scott. Scott is a good friend of the community, and he's helped contribute a change to the Astro image integration. He helped move a particular package from the dev dependency to the actual dependency array, and this was to help resolve an error where it couldn't find said package. Now, Scott, honestly, thank you for this and everything that you do for the community, mate. It's really appreciated, big, right? Hope you're doing well. And next off, we're taking a wee look over Michael's contribution. Here he did something wonderful. He's added the TS config to the create Astro wizard to always be output to check to see if there is one there. If it isn't, then it would add one for you. So this goes even further. For instance, if you were to add a third-party template and it doesn't have a TS config file for you, this will add one through the Create Astro CLI tool. This is really cool. And again, thank you, Michael, for putting this together for us. It is really, really sick. Now, Ziklag helped by adding support for using fetch behind a HTTP proxy. Users can now configure the HTTP proxy through the actual environment variables, utilizing like HTTP_proxy or HTTPS_proxy or no_proxy. Now, do note that the environment variables are only in uppercase and lowercase ones won't be read, right? But this is a great wee job that you put together there for us, Zik. Appreciate that, mate. Next up, we have Gerard. Now, Gerard has made a fix with the picture component within the Astro integration. The image variable of getPicture contains a width and a height property, which is typically required. In this case, the image is being wrapped within the picture tag, and the image tag itself shouldn't normally have the width or the height property, as this tends to break the responsiveness of the image provided by the picture tag. PR helps with the semantic rules of the picture component. Also, however, it does cause a layout shift, right? To counteract this layout shift, it's still manageable with the aspect ratio, but for projects using, like, for instance, Tailwind, their aspect ratio plugin will also do the trick here as well, right? So utilizing one of the two methods that you see on the screen here would minimize that layout shift that you would be experiencing, typically speaking. Now, this next one was provided by Lifeni. Here, they realized that the slash library that we use doesn't really handle paths that contain non-ASCII characters. And so we actually needed to replace the backslashes with the forward slashes. It sounds neurotic, but I really appreciate this. I just want to give this next segment to 7 incredible PRs that were raised from a single astronaut, very new to the project as well. I mean, I think he's only been in the door less than a week and a half. Community, please do welcome and thank Rishi for his amazing work and effort that he's been putting in over the past week. It is really amazing to see. 7 amazing PRs, right? And like, let's just get straight into them, okay? Straight out the bat, we had the first out of the 7 was a bug that he discovered whilst he was on Safari. Here they used to get. There is a wee issue where the let keyword used globally is not supported well with Safari, and here he makes a change to the const keyword, right? Simple enough, effective, right? But affected the defined vars, so it did. The second PR was for the API routes in SSG mode, where the warnings and the errors weren't appearing during dev mode, so he fixed that for us. The third fix was reported where the Astro house was housed inside another folder. The public folder wasn't being copied to the output directory destination, so images and other static assets were 404ing. Taking up the baton, fixing this, and giving Astro the added functionality. This was a lovely PR, right? The fourth PR makes it so that if the build format, build.format in their config file is set to file and not directory, they should have a .html extension added to the output in the astro.glob, closing yet another issue from another astronaut in the process. The fifth thing, right, was where the class list was, if it returned an undefined value, it would produce an empty class attribute in the HTML. Again, closing another issue from another astronaut. Now, I don't know why this particular image done this, but it is what it is. But closing a bug report from way back in May, where the user was still on beta 27, Astro lacked the ability to pass or overwrite mode to any other variable other than production or development. It wasn't really handy when you're wanting to use, say, something like staging mode. This was yet another great fix from Rishi, right? And his seventh, last but not least, which maintains a list of last but not least, his seventh PR, right, was a fix where the chunks directory would appear in the build output almost always, right? Even if there was no server-side assets found within the project. What he did here was basically maintain a list of the directories from which was served, and then checking and looping over the back of them to make sure that only the empty directories were removed, and it was actually quite a nice little cleanup PR. And I must say, all of these, right, made it into a single release, the release of 1.3.1, and this was huge. I mean, look at that release from the community, right? We had Matt, we had Bjorn in there as well, but we also have Lifeni as well with their fix for the non-ASCII characters on Windows. But yeah, that was a massive release from the community, right? Rishi's really took Astro like a duck to water, and like he says here, he just loves the ease of getting started and contributing to Astro. Tried open source in the past, but this was a super easy project to understand and get started with. So he says, I would also second that Astro is one of the best projects on GitHub for new and open source, for new contributors joining the open source and wanting to contribute to projects. We've set it up in such a way that it is straightforward and easy. But to all those who made it into this week's release and got their work committed into the Astro core, honestly, thank you, peeps. It's your hard work that keeps improving Astro in more ways than you know. High five to all of you for your collective effort. Seriously. Great work. Now we're taking a look at the pulse of the docs repo. Okay. And the docs team themselves, I mean, what can be said for these guys? Continuous, reliable, and brilliant. each and every single one of them. We've got 41 out of 55 PRs were closed this week, with 50% of the issues that were raised also being closed this week as well, right? Fervent activity along the entire docs project. Now, taking a look over the past month for the project, for a docs project, this is massive. Not many docs projects see activity to this kind of level or volume or excitement. At the 196 PRs, we had 90% of them merged. 33 out of 49 issues were also closed as well. And, I mean, what can you say? To the 60 odd people who've helped contribute and author over the to the docs project over the past month, thank you guys. Like, yous all kick ass, each and every single one of yous. There is an exciting announcement I did allude to earlier, right, with the docs project. Now, this is a wee shout out to the astronauts in the community. The Hacktoberfest has landed with Astro, and in particular it's landed with the Astro docs. We want to celebrate the translations and the reviews this month of October, right? It is more about helping to get the docs translated into the range of languages that we do have. And if you want to find out more information, you can do by visiting the docs channel that we got in the Discord community. We've also got this amazing page put together to help you understand the process, right, of the Hacktoberfest, especially when it comes to what we're doing with Astro. First of all, you need to register with the Hacktoberfest organisers. The link is there in the doc. Open a PR between the month of October, sooner the better, and then let us know that you're taking part in it by just adding the label to your PR. That is the Hacktoberfest accepted label that's already set up for you, right? And remember, it needs to be accepted by midnight, the 31st of October, and for it to count towards your Hacktoberfest. And this Hacktoberfest, we really wanted to recognise the reviewers for these PRs as well. So it's not only those who make the PRs, it's those who review the PRs as well that are going to get recognised in particular. Now, just a wee look, Hacktoberfest has started, guys, right? We've already got a couple of PRs that are put in, right? So by all means, start ticking away, right? And you can do by taking a look over the Gitbot issues, right? And it gives you this lovely little hyperlink for you to just create the page and start adding your translations to whatever ones are missing or needs updated. Now here's Dan going to explain the review process for this month's Hacktoberfest for us.
Hey, I'm Dan from the Astro Docs team, and I want to show you how we're recognizing PR reviews for Hacktoberfest. If you head on over to our pull requests page, you'll see a lot of translations that really need reviews from someone who speaks the language. You can go and add your review on GitHub, but then how do you get recognized for Hacktoberfest, which usually requires a PR? Our solution to this is a document that we called the Hacktoberfest Guide. And what you can do is grab the number that corresponds to the PR you're reviewing and make a PR to this document saying that you reviewed that PR. So I can say like Jutanium reviewed this PR. Then I will submit my own PR here, and our docs team will review it and add the Hacktoberfest accepted label so you can get credit. We are really excited for this, and we're really looking for translations and translation reviews, so we hope to see your contributions.
Thank you, Dan, for that amazing update on telling us how to go about reviewing and adding translations to the docs for this Hacktoberfest. Really do appreciate that, bud. Now, we want you to join the epic team that are on board the International Space Station, right? We're translating 7 major languages now, and that's what this Hacktoberfest is all about, an effort to get the docs translated into as many languages as possible, right? Now we're taking a wee look over the language tools, right, and the amazing developments and improvements to the Princess's Kingdoms of developer experience. Now, this week we've had a Prettier plugin update where there's been a number of fixes to help when it comes to some breaking features when it came to Prettier. This was missing new lines after attributes on inline elements, fixing expressions that weren't hugging the end of the tags in case they were where they were in places where they should be, and then also fixed new lines being added to the style tags even if they were empty. Great work, guys. Work. If you want to help Erica and the team when it comes to augmenting and expanding the language tools and the developer experience, the language tools is a repo for you to by all means to pop into, right? And we've also got the Prettier plugin repo as well, where you can find Anthony and Erica putting out updates like the one that we've just went over, right? It is brilliant to see, guys. Thank you very much. Now we're over to the support squad. The support squad themselves has been very busy, and the support is a community thing. It is a voluntary led mission where all of us get together and help as many as possible. But through the week, there is particular heroes, you know, that stand above the legends that's come into the forums, right, to help out. And this particular week, we've got 3. We've got amithgeorge, who's, now this is his second week running, right, I must say. The support that he's been offering folk has been fantastic. The quality has been amazing, right? We've seen Chris pop in this week and help unblock a number of folk when it came to their issues. And as always, the happiest developer that we've got in the support squad. Such a great guy. It's great to have Mohammed about helping folk as the way he does. Honestly, between the 3 of them, the contributions to the support squad has been phenomenal. So, individually, guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And since it is the end of the month, there is a particular hero for this month that I would like to give a special shout out to. And this is to Bryceguy. Bryceguy he's been helping folk out for a number of months in support squad, and his support, the level of his help and his understanding of Astro has been improving with every question and every support thread I see him in. And it's honestly, in my opinion, Bryceguy is like, you know, epitomizes what amazing support squaddies are. Fantastic. Actually fantastic, dude. So if you ever see these guys, if you see Bryceguy again and he helps you out, by all means, guys, it is a thank you. You know, it's at the end of the post, just a wee thank you. Wouldn't you go amiss? And from me, to all yous, thank you for what yous do. Keep up the great work. Actual gems. Right? Right, guys. It is the tail end of This Week in Astro, and a few streams for you to catch up on from last week. The first one is from our good friend Theo. Here, Theo was basically discovering some differences between Next.js and Astro, and I would highly recommend you taking a wee look over this particular stream. Fantastic work. Keep up the good work, Theo. Then we've got this amazing stream, right? By all means, guys, you got to check out this one, right? Here we have our very own Matt Phillips from the core team, speaking with Ryan over at Solid.js. Now, Ryan does these deep dive streams each week into different UI frameworks. He knows his stuff, right? And very rarely does Ryan get left speechless on his streams. And I must say, Matt left him, you know, thrown back, mouth aghast. It was amazing. Great stream. I really did enjoy this one, right? The last stream that I'd like to put you in touch with is the smooth page transition stream with Maxi and Jason. Now, this is fantastic. Maxi's been exploring the shared page transition API with Astro over the past couple of weeks. He's made a number of cool demos. And this stream here, he shows how to use not only the discusses the shared API transition, but a package that was being ported over from the Rails project. I think it's called Turbo Swap, if I remember. Not Turbo Link's the deprecated one, but there's a newer one on the scene, right? A more recent one. By all means, guys, do check out this stream, right? If you want to have fantastic transitions between your pages on an MPA site, it is amazing. Great work, guys. I love the work, the content that he's put out there. And on that note, I wish you all the very best for the week ahead. Peace and love, troops. Peace and love.